if it is not for John Maynard Keynes, probably it would not have been sinking in FDR's mind. But you know, even FDR hesitated for a couple of years too, because that is a new economic policy. By the way, today everyone, whether it's conservative or liberal economists, they all say they are Keynesian economists. It was that John Maynard Keynes who has really helped improve the conditions of not only this country but around the globe. Well, his country was suffering, British economy was suffering because of the depression we have had.
The same thing, it's a global depression
problem.
today.
And right now, you know, every country is suffering. And our unemployment has been increasing day by day, and number of people are going to be in the rows of unemployment, and these people, they have only 6 months to receive those unemployment benefits. But after that, what?
Okay.
So it has to be, Congress should approve something to make sure, extend that time period.
Because because it doesn't appear as if everything's going to be all right within the next 6 months.
Within 6 months. And don't forget, number of people have been on the unemployment payrolls. They may be ready for receiving some benefit from somewhere. It's not only the food stamp program, which has been, you know, burdened with, but also they don't have any money to buy the basic things.
And even when we talk about credit, if individuals don't have money and they can't get credit from it, they don't have any kind of collateral to go to the bank with, it simply leaves them in quite of a desperate situation. Would you say that?
Yeah, it is absolutely correct. And even today, right now, even with a 700 points credit score, which you have, which is supposed to be pretty good, they could not get very many loans.
And some of the large corporations, I understand, are having some real problems. Reputable corporations, I understand.
Yes, and they have been having a tremendous amount of problem in getting some sort of credit so that they can expand their plant and equipment. And especially for sales. For example, auto industry, which suffered tremendously because of this credit crunch. And they could not get any banks, you know, financing these, the inventory of these different dealerships. So that means even though there is a deal between the salesman and the customer, they could not get it financed because the banks say no to the dealerships. So it is a wholesale problem. And another thing which I want to mention here is why not we go a little bit more aggressively and a little bit more and enlarge the programs which FDR did. And if it is not for FDR, you know, the country would be, I don't know where it would
And so essentially what you believe we have to do is to build on the New Deal, you see, and not to come up with something that is different, but to simply expand what has happened.
It's a lot more than the New Deal of FDR, and so a lot more credit should be available, a lot more. And you should not, see, unfortunate thing in the early period was even the inflation. The prices have gone up, you know, because number of these major manufacturing industries in this country are oligopolies. That means only few companies control the major share of the industries. So that means they are not going down in prices even though there isn't enough demand for their products. So whoever buys that, they are going to pay this high price, which automatically creates
In other words, there's no competition. Is that what we're saying?
There is no competition. Unfortunately, our country, of course, we always say we are always very proud of our economic system, which is the capitalistic society where individual freedom and all that. But the thing is, at the same time, when these few companies are manipulating or holding the price lines a lot higher than what the people can afford to pay, which causes enormous amount of inflation. They cannot have other things, you know, because of the prices increase.
You know, but and one thing, Dr. Parachuri, over the last couple of minutes before we leave today, say something about some of these extraordinary salaries that these individuals were getting, and how that might impact upon what we're doing now.
Yes, it was a number of the mistaken policies of these executives, how created enormous problems for all these financial institutions and these different corporations. And here they also have golden parachutes, as we call them, where a number of these executives, senior executives, were getting enormous amount of bonuses and big packages for their retirement. And I remember one top executive, without naming, he is going to get about $63.5 million for that company which is failing pretty miserably. And it's not just one company. Look at all these different institutions. And every one of them had a nice golden parachute packages which would take away the investors' money, basically. And while they are suffering losses, these people are still getting those packages. And that's why in this particular program, of this bailout program, one of the most important thing is they have put a clause, especially to the bankers, for example. They have said, look, you cannot give any of these
golden
parachutes, you do not have to honor them, because they were the ones who messed up these companies.
And so even though there might be some kind of agreement or some kind of contract within the corporation, the government is essentially saying that
you're saying go back on them. And I don't know legally how good it is, but I think one of the most important thing Secretary Paulson and Bernanke and Baird said was, one of the major conditions, one of the most important condition is that these chief executives or their senior level executives should not have any packages until the companies
make some kind of profit in reference to what they're doing. And of course, Dr. Paruchuri, we're ending the last few seconds of this show for today, and we want to thank you for bringing again that excellent information and